I haven't really verified what's going on. So she's chooching a little bit, chugging a little smoke. I've already checked CBS codes. Let's see what we got here. We got a EGR minimum stop position, cylinder 1, EGR, low plug number 4. If we go to our EGR position sensor, here's our valve. We're at 1.47 volts, which is it's pretty high. Should be under a volt, 0.8 or something like that. So let's pop this valve out and see what she looks like. So she's not propped open, but she's gummed up pretty good. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. See if we can get this thing to read lower than 1.5 volts. And if we can get that to read okay, then we're gonna move on to our cylinder contribution code. Look.
I know if you have your camera going on. You get that other key straightened out?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, no problem.
I was trying to tell her, he said, no, you did that. I said, he ain't programmed yet. I said, okay, then click up, hit the button. It's amazing how some people try to take out a match something, but it has a sighted glue.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
But he was trying to help, though.
It don't take much for him to spaz out.
Yeah, her was spaz out the minute. I think he was right, he was holding.
prop the valve open with a zip tie. I just got it holding the valve open. I'll fill that completely full of choke and linkage cleaner. We'll let that sit, marinate for a little bit, stick it back in. Got her all shined up. Let's put it back in and see if our voltage is any lower. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, let's reinitiate this. Now we're sitting at 0.87, so let's start it back up and see if it smokes. Like number one's overfueling quite a bit. Putting a lot of fuel to it. She's locking right up. Alright, let's pull the number one injector out. I relocated this truck because the bay it was in, very difficult to work out of. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but the bay it's in now, I'm near my airline, I'm near my light, I'm near my toolbox. The other bay wasn't near any of that. And I've got a fan I can put right on me here. Before I moved it though, I disconnected the number one injector because our power balance said number one was having an issue. Definitely overfueling, the engine was speeding up way too fast for that cylinder. So before I moved it, I unplugged that injector and the smoke cleared up right away. So we know we're on the right track. That's the bay I was in over there. And now I'm in my raggedy lift bay here. I just simply unplugged that injector so it wouldn't fire. So the very next step was you should do if you have an injector problem, you know, something going on with the injector, the very next thing you should do is a compression test. But there's so much fuel in this cylinder. I mean, I think the cylinder is okay. As far as sealing wise, we're just going to fill our compression tester up with fuel. Just going to, and I mean, I've seen these things at 500 psi because of the hydrolock situation. So we're going to bypass that step, but we're going to pop the injector out and we're going to put our bore scope in there and have a look, make sure the piston is not melted or funny looking from all the fuel that's been going through it. So there's not really a lot to getting this off. We're going to take the discharge air cooler pipe off. We'll move the dipstick out of the way and the glow plug control module, and then just pop the valve cover off, pop the oil rail off, and then we'll pop the injector out. And our injector nozzle just happens to be the same measurement as a bore scope. So it should be interesting. We should be able to get right in there and see what we're doing. So I'm going to pop that off of there and get the injector out, and then we'll take a look. Got the injector out, and then I just use my starter button to spin the motor, so I have to crawl around underneath it. And I've got a long flat blade screwdriver down in the injector hole. And I simply wanted to get the piston as far down as it'll go so we can get a good look at it with the bore scope. So that's in there pretty deep. In there pretty good. The screwdriver is. Let's fire up the scope and see what we're going to see. I found it. Hey, right here. Grab it. It's just got a little carbon on it. Should survive. See the old endoscope fit down in the hole there pretty good. Let's put an injector in it and recheck it. Alright, we got the engine back together, and we're going to have a bit of a long crank because I've drained that oil rail to keep from making a mess. This truck's pretty clean. I was trying to localize the mess. So it gives us a good opportunity to see the relationship of an airbound oil system, high pressure oil system, and the numbers. So let's check it out. So all we only want a couple things here. We want ICP pressure and voltage and IPR. Alright. I'm going to crank it over, and this is a number you're going to want to pay attention to. I mean, this is what the computer sees, and then it calculates that for us to make it easy. And then that's the percentage. And this, you'll see this climb trying to bring that online. We need 500 psi to start. I spun that a really long time, but if I'd stopped and then let off, I would have to do it all over again. You gotta just crank it and crank it, crank it. So it's better just to hit it hard one good time, because once you start building 10, 20, 30 PSI, you hit 100, it's gonna hit 500 pretty quickly. So I'm gonna let it run for a little bit and let it bleed that air out of that oil rail. We don't wanna kill that injector by just hammer down the road. So we'll let her idle for a bit and then we'll recheck it. Let's see how our sick patient's doing this morning. See if she's made a recovery. We got all the passenger side back together, and we have got her set back to 0. Cleared all our codes, got her back to square one. Let's start her up. Not quite as smoky, but it's a good start. Well, let's go see how long it takes old Smokey to clear up here. Got that truck in the way. The little fender's gonna stick out a little bit. I don't know if I should go out on the road or not. This thing's smoking pretty bad. I'll go over behind this building over here. Go over behind this building and blow it out. This building doesn't go very far. Alright, we're going to hit the road. We're just going to have to deal with it. We'll go slow first. There's nobody behind us. We got an old lady getting ready to get her mail. I'll blow her out. Alright, there's nobody somebody behind us. That smoke is still lingering in the back. Still just hanging back there. Let's do it again. It's just clearing up pretty good there. Pull this window up. Clear it up nicely. Alright, I gotta kill two birds with one stone here. Gonna drive this down to a local independent garage, and I've got to do a compression test on a 96 7.3 power stroke. F-350, I think it's a dually. But did a compression test on it with it, and their gauge was it seemed a little out of whack, so we're gonna use my gauge real quick and recheck it, and I got to get a quote on some parts to put injectors in a Duramax. It'll be 7, so drive down, take care of that, and then so we've already cleared up. We're not smoking at all. So we burned out that fuel that was in the catalytic converter and the muffler. So we'll get back to the shop, we'll check this girl for codes and leaks. If all is okay, we'll call the customer and have his truck back. Well, she runs good. No more smoke. Worked out good. No codes. No leaks under the hood. We had a bit of a cause and effect kind of thing. The EGR got kind of crudded up because we had an injector that was overfueling. And you know, just crudding everything up. This EGR valve may come back, it may have another issue. I mean, cleaning it's not really the best practice. I mean, it really should be replaced, but I mean, it cleaned up pretty good. But let's check it out and see how it looks. We'll just do an good old EGR test here. Powertrain, air management, EGR. Are the above conditions met? Yes, they are. Alright, we're in the green there. We're all within their parameters. Within those parameters. We'll see if she opens and shuts. Opens and shuts just fine. And I'll start it up and check the flow. Doing a baseline check. Now we open our valve to 40%. We've closed our turbo up to 85%. We're still at idle. We're in spec. We've opened our turbo up full bore. Closed our valve full. We're in spec. Okay, we're at fast idle. We closed the turbo up to full closed. Valve is off. Same thing, but now we've opened our valve to 40%. We're in spec. Fast idle, but we've opened the turbo fully and we've closed the valve. Good to go. I don't think we're gonna have any more problems out of this truck. So we're gonna call it done. Appreciate you guys tuning in.